Alright, so this will be a feedback slash critique for Gillon. Okay, it doesn't look like any special requests, just sort of outside perspectives, and it's like, hey, what's going on? You know the drill. I think you've either watched or heard me about this stuff before. I'm by no means a Tekken professional. I'm just someone who likes this game, and I like playing Feng. Good old S tier Feng. He's really fun. I watched a few matches, and all the wins are like pretty solid, just pretty strong play. There's not really much to say. In terms of here is an objective, or here is a closer to objective flaw in your current game plan style, or something that you're missing that could be considered like necessary. All right. A lot of it is going to be a bit more about like my personal opinion on some of the play styles and some of the move choices, and just about like, hey, I think you should be utilizing this stuff a bit more. We'll do the usual. I only have like a few things to say about the few matches that I've watched, and so it'll be that, and then just the usual breakdown. So. Rip. Oh, did I skip it? Oh, I think I skipped it. Awkward. That's so funny. I never knew we could do that. Okay, so like right here. Oh my god, Twitch. So you start doing a period of down fours, and the lead just doesn't know what the fuck to do, right? So there's two things that's just kind of a pattern I noticed throughout the match, is that you're very hesitant on using the riskier, more rewarding lows from Fang. Like I saw the occasional down back three, like we saw it hit him out of his power crush or something, and it's understandable, right? They clearly carry some risk, or they're like pretty slow, and Lee has a plethora of counter hit launchers. That's kind of like, you don't want to be pressing too many things. Still, I think you should use them. I've watched like so many sets, and this Lee was rarely ever sidestepping that often, right? Like this dude's not fully on rails. Like he started sidestepping after you hit him with like the fourth down four, right? And then he was rarely ever doing like, you know, backdash, hold down forward for the preemptive low parry, or backdash low block, right? And stuff like that. And it's like, you want to give him more reasons to duck for your mids to be a bit more effective. The 2 tilde 1 was doing fine because you're using it as kind of like a, I guess keep out is the term, which is fine. But I think you could be doing a bit more for him to, a bit more, like there's a lot of chip damage you were leaving on the table by just relying on just kind of mids and stuff like that. Or when you were doing like instant while standing ones, they were blocked a lot, and that was solid, right? You're -1, like who cares? But it's more about like, you want to make them think that at any moment that, right, these lows could come out. And obviously, you know, it's a lot easier for me to say this than being like, oh yeah, use your launch punishable low. But it's fucking down back three, dude. It's unseeable. It's stupid fast, or it's unseeable at high crushes, and more importantly, against Lee, stuff like down back two, down back three, and maybe down back two too. Down back three, down two are going to be important because they're lows against, you know, Lee's plethora of like high power crushes and stuff like that. His Hitman 4, the one where it's like, it's a hit throw, right? If it hits you, and it's also an armor move, and typically that's what he's going to be using to discourage you from being too aggressive, right? But it's an armor move, so who cares? If you just do your low, you'll get your counter hit animation. And yeah, like, oh no, down back 3 doesn't give good upkeep. It's about the 40 damage, right? Anyway, my point being is that you need to incorporate a bit more chip damage into your game plan, right? You're playing very safe, playing very solid, but you're leaving a little bit of damage on the table. And it's not like a huge deal. It's not like a make or break situation, but it's about softening up your opponent to make your life a little bit easier, right? Every little bit of chip damage matters for Feng, because the closer you get to the end of the round, if you take 2 rounds, right, side by side, one where you do take a bit more risk with the lows, or just do something like down 2 because it's going to be a bit safer. Your opponent will have a lot less health to work with versus a round where you're playing very safe and astutely, and you are getting your opportunities, but you're not necessarily softening them up with that chip damage, right? So you're achieving 2 purposes. Your opponent has less health to work with and is ideally, right? Ideally second guessing utilizing their tools that fall to, like, he's going to be second guessing utilizing his highs, he's going to be second guessing utilizing too many power crushes or armor moves because you just have a pretty strong set of lows, right? And you are making them, so you're second guessing that, and you're making them more wary of, like, ducking into stuff, softening them up for your mids. And like we see it here, right? Like, you did like 4 down 4s, and I love down 4, but it does like shit damage, right? So doing like down 4, down 4, down 2, or down 4, down back 3, right? Because if he's clearly, like, he's throughout the set, this is a thing, like, he just wants to backdash and then the occasional forward dash, and he relies more on, like, Lee's keep out tools as opposed to just blocking. So taking more advantage of that, right? Let's see how this set plays out. Oh, I guess it was wall standing 2. What the hell did Lee press? How the fuck was it? Wall standing 2 isn't that slow, is it? Oh, where's our data? No, it's only 15, so it would have been 11 frames. Oh, he probably did his wall standing 4-4. How fast is... That's fine. What the fuck? That move is so slow. That's crazy. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Let's keep going. Oh, another low to use is just core circle forward 1, right? Like, it's not. It's just like 22 frames. Like 24. I don't know, man. It's like getting to that borderline of reactable, but it's more about, like, it's only +2 to 3 on hit though. That's kind of whatever. Again, it's another move that I would, again, strongly recommend using, because again, this Lee is just doing, he's on rails. He's just doing back and forth. He's not sidestepping you a bunch that much. And then if he's not really blocking low. At most, you see him, like, crouch forward for, like, a low parry, right? But then you're using core circle forward 1, so who cares? So another option to consider that you gotta, like, utilize at some point. Rip. Yeah. I don't think it was the worst decision. See, like, right there, right? It's just kind of like that. When he thinks you're going to press a button under pressure, and he's going to use his power crush, just do, down back 3. Nice. Rip. Wait, what the hell? Fuck. This only lets me skip 4. It's kind of annoying. Nice. Tragedy. Tragedy. Man, this Lee just loves to rush him. That's pretty crazy. Mm. Uh, 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 fuck. Yeah, so that part's kind of hard, right? It's just kind of like, all right, when is he gonna do his keep out move, right? When is he gonna do his move that's gonna punish you for dashing in? So what happens? Oh, you were. I guess you were dash blocking. Yeah, go next round. So that's another thing. I guess like during wall standing one and down forward one, you sidestep right a lot. I don't know if that's the nah, I don't know if that's like the direction you want to step Lee in, but you know, I don't think you're not locked to that direction. So I don't know if it's a habit or if that's like the ideal direction to step Lee, but he's clearly hitting you out of it. And that kind of happens throughout the set. You just favor a certain direction to sidestep. And just kind of keep an active mind to just either, do the opposite direction and also just vary up your timings with just kind of taking the mix up, right? Like even though you don't need to, clearly he's got a read on the sidestep and your preferences for that direction. Oh, is that guaranteed? Oh, rip. That's fine. Was it the shoulder the play? Well, probably. I think doesn't have a lot plus frame stuff. Huh? You guys are like fucking fiends when you use that backswing blow. I'm terrified of using that thing. Okay, so the jab. Oh, rip, rip. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the same direction. He has the read. I mean, it's working out, so we'll see. Oh shit. Oh, tragedy. Okay, so like, I was going to say that Corsical Forward 1+2 is a move you should be using a bit more. I'm not sure what prompted using it in that situation. Right? Yeah, you're heavily plus, but the Lee has been shown to like challenge you. Oh, maybe you were expecting like a duck. Yeah, how fast is Corsical Forward 1+2? 18. That's not that bad. Maybe a move with a simpler input, just because of like to avoid laggy inputs. So you're +6 minimum when you get the slash kick off. I don't know what he did to interrupt you, and I also don't know what's like doing. So if you did this right, if you did Corsical Forward 1 based on like a duck, right? I'm not sure why. I don't think it was like the worst decision, but I think you just opt for like if because the thing is like you gotta be watching out for, hey, he likes to press buttons on defense and stuff like that, or he likes to duck a lot, and it's like, okay, if you're gonna go for Corsical Forward 1+2, right? And it's kind of like your big reward. It's like trying to be that midline between low risk, low reward, like down forward one, or high risk, high reward, like hop kick. But it's that issue of like, the Lee has a bunch of counter launchers. He's not afraid to press them, and yeah, even if he ducks, he's constantly like pressing a button afterwards, right? Because it's never just a duck and then his turn is over. He's always expecting you to be pressing like back one or something. So he's kind of like preemptively geared to start doing like wall standing 4 or some other move, or wall standing, what is it, 3-2? I don't know what Lee's wall standing moves are, but the one where he does like the kick into a punch and knocks you down far away. So stuff like that. And you were probably better off with just down forward 1, right? Most likely get the counter hit and then go for like a mix up. Or maybe just down forward 3. Down forward 3 is 17 frames, right? Oh shit. Oh no, it's around the same speed. That's unfortunate. Yeah, because Lee hits you out with like magic 4, so you need something like down forward 1, right? You know, down forward 1, and then absolute certainty that like there is no way they're beating this move back 4. Or you know, you could have done down back 3, so you had options. Anyway, I think like in these early stages when you don't have like a lead or anything to go off on, I think down forward 1 would have been fine to like keep pressing your advantage. Because the goal would be, it's like, yeah, you don't get like a crazy situation, but the huge mix-up opportunity you get from the counter hit because he was going to be pressing a button, or just the solid frame advantage you get from just like, oh, I hit down forward 1. +6 is solid. Yeah. It's like it's a good thing either way for very low commitment on your end. I just think the quarter circle forward 1 +2 here is a bit weird, but I don't mean to be harping on it as long as I have, for as much as I have. It was just kind of like a, hey, you had other options. Nice. I think what you could do like right here in these sort of mid-range situations is just poke with like down forward 4 and see what he likes to do. Just do down forward 4, hold back, see what he starts liking to do, and as like a form of disruption. So that way you don't have, like when you don't have enough time to wind up with 2 a tilde 1, just down forward 4. Again, this entire round, all the matches I've seen, it's not like this dude's preemptively sidestepping you. I think he's sidestepped one of your moves like once, right? Like this Lee is on rails, and he's super aggressive. Like I just don't get it, because he's not forcing you to approach him and then just doing, you know, long range, backdash, sidestep left, the usual anti-Feng stuff. So it's just kind of like a weird situation. He's just very aggressive and opt to take more advantage of that. Rip. Oh, nice. Oh, the overcommitment. Awkward. Hold up, I gotta wind that back. Let me see this shit. Good old S tier Feng. Hitbox is kicking in. What the fuck is the point of that move? Okay. This is tough, right? It's like, is it like, oh, did he overcommit to the acid rain or not? I felt like, I don't know, maybe you could have, oh, rip. Yeah, I felt like you could have gone for the 4-3-4 when he was whiffing the acid rain, but you went for like the guaranteed safe punish, which is understandable. Holy shit, dude. Why? What a fucking travesty. How does that even happen? Why does he just like cut half his... I don't know. It's, oh, well, Feng is S tier. Nothing that can be done. Can't buff shoulder. Fucking cowards. Right. So right here, you're backdashing a lot, but you're kind of not you're not doing enough dash blocking forward, right? A bit more, like you don't need to go full range. You need to go maybe like one extra character space, and try to force the Lee into a bigger commitment on his whiff recovery, right? It's not necessarily so much that you should expect a whiff punish because it's Lee, and that character is really annoying to whiff punish, but it's more like forcing him to press more buttons and should give you more opportunities. Is it a guarantee that you'll get like a really solid whiff punish? Not necessarily, but it's you playing at this far range and just kind of being very very passive and not a bit more proactive on your offense. It's not going to do anything for you. He's just going to keep whiffing buttons as he feels comfortable because he knows you're not going to come in, and then you kind of overcommit to like the 4-3-4, right? Oh, do you get it? Hey, nice. You Twitch confirming? That shit's wild. Oh, rip. Nice. Hell yeah. This is probably the last match I watch, and then I'll just go into like my breakdowns and stuff. Nice. Fuck. Nice. Oh, rip. Damn, that was a ballsy out of this read. I just learned about that wall conversion too. Yeah, I'll talk about that later. Right. Okay, so pretty solid play overall. I think there are some extra things you could be doing, right? Okay, so we'll do the usual neutral combos slash punishment slash matchup knowledge combos slash Oki personal opinion stuff. But before we get into that, there's gonna be a lot of stuff. Maybe more personal opinion stuff. There's gonna be a lot of stuff where it's just kind of like, look, you can either go the extra mile and do all these extra setups and stuff, and there's a philosophy of like maximizing every little tool a character has, no matter how niche the situation may be, versus the KISS method of keep it simple, stupid, right? So some of the things I say might be a little bit extra, so I'll talk about them later and more in personal opinion stuff. But for neutral, right, a bit more distance on your dash blocking, right? You need to just dash forward a bit more, right? Again, it's not about committing to it. It's like full on just dash up in your opponent's face and block, but it's more about giving them the illusion that you're going to go in, right? Or doing something like empty snake dashes. And I'm not talking about like full on just repeated. I'm talking about just do down, forward, and then hold back, right? Don't commit to a move. Just give them that image that you're moving forward and going and committing to like that forward movement, but you're not, right? Especially at those I don't want to rewind. This Twitch replay is kind of weird. Those early distances when I first talked about like, hey, you need to dash block a bit. In those distances, right, just snake dash in slightly. Just do like one. Don't do multiple, obviously. But snake dash in slightly to give to incentivize the opponent more of like, okay, he's gonna do something. Let me try and do something. Let me try and challenge that, right? And if they don't, then that's fine. You gained more information. It's like, okay, that's clearly not enough to bait something out of him, right? But the end point being is that like you never have to commit, right? Another thing is a bit more sidestepping, not just like a willy-nilly, but I think it's like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Feng's like sidestep moves, right? Like 1+2 and sidestep 2. So just a bit more sidestepping, just kind of like, again, you don't have to actually use the moves, although I'd recommend sidestep 1+2 every now and again. But it's more about like giving them that like giving them that kind of like okay, hey, I'm going to go for this option, and getting them used to that visualization. Because think about it, right? Like if you don't sidestep the entire match, and I mean at the wall it doesn't matter, but like in the neutral, and then you sidestep like once, then yeah, the opponent's gonna be like, oh, he's gonna go for his sidestep move, right? So that's kind of why I'm saying like do a bit more preemptive sidesteps, or just utilize a bit more sidestep moves earlier on throughout the sets, so that way that they're more, one, they're on the lookout for it, and then two, it's kind of like it'll help mix up your timing versus, okay, so again, the 2 round situation. 1 round of I didn't sidestep at all, and then at the very end you do like a sidestep move, and they'll just be kind of ready for it, or they'll be more on the lookout for it. Or the other situation of like you've softened them up through utilizing a few sidestep moves throughout the match, right? And this is fine because they're either A, gonna be on the lookout for it, B, even if they're ready for it, that means you can use that knowledge to your advantage and utilize other tools, right? If they're constantly expecting sidestep 1+2, they won't be expecting like sidestep into down back 3, or sidestep into down 4, or sidestep into down forward 1, right? Or just empty sidestep into blocking, or just not. Or if, let's say, if you're doing it after a specific situation, like after core circle forward 1+2 on block, then they're not gonna be ready for it as much, right? You get what I'm saying? It's just kind of like utilizing more tools to make them, to kind of break them down mentally. They have to constantly be aware of your variety of options, and that mental taxing, adds up, right? Like everybody watched that mental stack video. They have to constantly be aware of Feng's variety of options. So in neutral, just experimenting a bit more with sidesteps. Definitely experiment more with like how you can do dash blocking, right? Because you don't have to just do the usual dash. If you have enough distance, you can do a snake dash, and the very extended forward range will give people a bit more like incentivize them a bit more, be like, oh, he's moving really far forward, I should use my keep out tool or something. Neutral, what else in neutral? Nothing else comes to mind right now. If something else comes up, I'll mention it. I don't want this long ass video to be a bunch of nothing. Punishment / matchup knowledge. Punishment. There was some times where you were kind of like short on the whiff punishment, or some awkward decisions where it's like you had an easy whiff punishment opportunity for big damage, and then you go for something like core circle or instant wall standing 1, and it's like, I guess it cleaned up as the matches progressed. Like you just went for the shoulder, but just keep in mind you also have something like down forward 4-3, right? Like that shit reaches far, right? That goes so far. So you also have that as a whiff punishment opportunity for easy mix-ups, right? You have pretty strong frame advantage afterwards. So stuff like that, and then be more mindful of what your opponent is not doing, right? Like this guy isn't doing like the backdash into down forward into, low parry. He's not doing the backdash into sidestep. He's not really sidestepping you left a bunch, despite how many times you do instant wall standing 1, right? If it was, oh, I see forward movement, time to start sidestepping left, like, okay, now you have to readjust your game plan. But it's not, right? It's, okay, I'm just going to keep doing whatever, and he's not really taking into account what he should be doing against Feng. So take advantage of that, right? If the dude's not ducking, use more low, if the dude's not ducking, use more lows, right? Match knowledge against Lee. Your guess is as good as mine, dude. I do not play against Lee very often. I think that like at those distances where if you're at the very close distance, like hypothetically, you're at the distance we're at now, and he's in Hitman, I would just do down back 3, right? Just fuck it, down back 3. But it's very difficult. I think your better option is just get the life lead and then force Lee to approach you, right? And we see why, because like your 2-1 was working wonders throughout this match. Like you got so much damage off of that. Lee's approach isn't the best, right? And even though he has option for it, it's again nowhere near the level that his keep out game is, and you just never want to deal with that. So don't, poke in, chip away, and then once you have the life lead, start conditioning him to just keep trying to approach and throwing himself against this kind of like wall of Feng shit that just kind of it's always very slippery and hard to pin down. Combos / Oki. Combos are solid. Oki wasn't bad at all. It was solid. I think, however, when it was your wake up situation, right? During your wake up situation, it was just kind of like you always woke up with a move, and I think you should experiment more with grounded options of just kind of side rolling a bit more, especially in situations where your back is to the wall and you just kind of stay there. It's safe, but you could be side rolling to try and give yourself a more awkward wall position, awkward for the opponent, right? Where if you wake up and he hits you, and he'll more than likely get a side wall hit versus just a clean wall splat, right? It's more about maximizing those opportunities as much as you can. It's not about like, constantly escape the wall. It's like, yeah, that's the ideal. But even if you were to create a situation where he would at best get an awkward wall splat, far better than just kind of staying at the wall. There were also some situations where the roles were reversed, like the Lee's back was to the wall, and then you started to sidestep towards the wall, right? As in like the Lee got more room. I think you want to sidestep with the Lee, just kind of like like you don't want to commit to a move, but it will help just keep that wall pressure up, right? Because Feng is just so fucking scary at the wall. So just kind of keep that up. Other options, so other Oki options, and we'll go into like more personal opinion stuff. I think at the wall, when you were back turn and you're doing like back turn 2-2, I think you could have gone for back turn 3. The Lee wasn't really challenging your back turn, right? He wasn't really pressing a lot of buttons, hitting you out of back turn. He was trying to move around, but it's kind of like I feel like you had more opportunities for back turn 3 and forward 3, especially at the wall. And then at the wall, also stuff like core circle forward 1+2. Again, just easy plus frame situations that will pressure the opponent and make them ideally panic into pressing a button, which you then counter hit them out of, right? So more stuff like that. You're playing it fine, but I think you could have taken a bit more risk given how in that specific situation where the Lee's back is to the wall and he's facing a back turn Feng, he wasn't very quick to challenge you, and I think you could have experimented more a bit with like the timing of just going for back turn 3. Personal opinion stuff. Sidestep 1+2 and sidestep 2 are awesome moves. I definitely think you should be experimenting with them a bit more, right? And again, in the open ground, if you don't want to commit to the back turn mix up, then don't, right? Just hold down back and then slip away out of there. There's nothing the Lee has that's going to chase you down to the point where you'd be in danger, right? It's not fast enough to chase you down usually. So definitely a bit more experimentation with those moves, in my opinion, right? It's either, think about it, right? Like you do more sidestep 2, he's going to be more wary about, he's going to be more incentivized to duck. Or if he just takes it, he's going to be more wary about back turn mix-ups, more likely to challenge you, so your counter hit options from back turn are more likely to work out, right? And once you're in back turn, especially in the neutral, in the open ground, then you can see like, okay, how does he react in back turn versus a back turn Feng in the open? Does he immediately just backdash away? Does he immediately try to challenge me? What does he challenge me with? Does he try to challenge me with like jabs? So then I can do back turn down 3, right? Stuff like that. Definitely a bit more of like the power moves. I'm a big fan. Like I understand there's risk to it, sure. Like oh no, they can sidestep core circle for 1+2. Then just opt for it in situations where their movement is going to be a bit more restricted, right? Just opt for it when the Lee's back is to the wall and it's gonna, or he's especially if he's in the corner and sidestepping is gonna be a bit more awkward, right? Excuse me. A bit more core circle forward one, just because it's not necessarily like massively important. I just see it as the hell. Oh my god. I just see it as like a hey, this is chip damage and it's easy free chip damage, right? Again, your opponent's not ducking that often. He's not doing like crazy sidestep stuff. And it's just a very easy kind of like, oh, neat. I get easy chip damage because you're just refusing to block low. Or at most, he's just doing low parries, right? Oh shit! How much time is this stupid movie? It's way too long. Sorry, man. Yeah. If you have any questions about anything, let me know, and see you on the next one.